Anubis was one of the most ancient and revered gods in ancient Egyptian mythology. Anubis was the god of mummification, embalming, and the afterlife. Anubis was often depicted as a man with the head of a jackal or as a full jackal. Anubis played a crucial role in the judgment of souls in the afterlife. Anubis was believed to be the son of the god Osiris and the goddess Nephthys. Anubis was associated with funeral rituals and the protection of tombs and burial grounds. Anubis guided the souls of the deceased through the Duat, the realm of the dead, and ensured their safe passage to the afterlife. Anubis was considered a kind and compassionate deity, comforting and protecting the souls of the deceased. Anubis was responsible for weighing the hearts of the deceased against the feather of Maat to determine their worthiness for the afterlife. Anubis was often depicted wearing a robe or kilt and carrying various symbolic objects, such as the ankh, the scepter, or the flail. Anubis was also known as the opener of the way for his role in guiding the deceased to the afterlife. In some myths, Anubis was believed to have invented embalming and taught the technique to humanity. Anubis was associated with the color black, which symbolized fertility, rebirth, and the rich soil of the Nile River. Anubis had a strong connection to the Egyptian city of Hardai, where a major cult center dedicated to him was located. His name, Anubis, is derived from the ancient Egyptian word Inpu, which means royal child or nobility. Anubis was sometimes depicted as a guardian of the underworld and as a companion to Osiris, the god of the afterlife. In depictions of the Egyptian funerary procession, Anubis often appeared alongside the god Thoth, who recorded the outcome of the judgment. Anubis was also associated with the god Wepwayet, who was considered a deity of war, hunting, and the opening of the way. Anubis was sometimes depicted with a knife or a flaying tool, symbolizing his role in the embalming process. Anubis was closely linked to the jackal, a scavenger animal associated with death in the desert. Anubis had a counterpart in Greek mythology named Hermanubis, which combined the attributes of Anubis and the Greek god Hermes. Anubis was worshipped by priests who specialized in embalming rituals and funerary practices. Anubis was considered a protector of the deceased pharaohs and other prominent individuals. His presence was believed to ward off evil spirits and malevolent forces. The Greek historian Herodotus identified Anubis with the Greek god Hermes in his writings. Anubis was often depicted in funerary art, including tomb paintings and sculptures, to invoke his protection and guidance. Anubis was sometimes depicted with a falcon head instead of a jackal head, emphasizing his association with other deities. Anubis was an important figure in the mythology surrounding the resurrection and rebirth of Osiris. His role in the judgment of the deceased aligned with the Egyptian concept of Maat, the principle of cosmic order and justice. Anubis was venerated throughout ancient Egyptian history, from the early dynastic period to the Ptolemaic era. He had temples and shrines dedicated to him, and his worship extended to various social classes. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, Anubis is mentioned as the guide and protector of the deceased during their journey to the afterlife. His presence was often invoked in funerary prayers and rituals to ensure a successful transition to the afterlife. Anubis was associated with the star Sirius, which was known as the dog star and held astronomical significance in ancient Egypt. Anubis was sometimes invoked as a healer, and amulets depicting him were worn for protection against illness and evil spirits. Anubis had a role in mythological narratives, including his involvement in the resurrection of Osiris and the protection of Horus, the falcon-headed god. The Greek, Roman period saw Anubis' popularity spread beyond Egypt, with his influence extending to other cultures in the Mediterranean. In modern times, Anubis continues to capture the fascination of people worldwide, becoming a prominent figure in popular culture, literature, and art. Engaging in sexual activity can encourage open and honest communication with a partner about desires, boundaries, and pleasure. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe,